Apologies for that brief interruption, but now we have our guest, Barrister Steve Adaramoye, a lawyer in Lagos, Nigeria. We're still talking about the case between Godwin Emefiele, the EFCC, and the judge's ruling regarding his arrest and detention. Thank you so much once again, Barrister Steve, for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's a pleasure. All right, you were talking about the fate of Emefiele regarding his decisions when it comes to monetary policies, the general actions that he took that brought him to this point.
Actually, I was saying before the interruption of the internet, ordinarily, whenever somebody is accused of a crime of an offense, all things being equal, that very person is nothing but a suspect. It's a criminal allegation, and it has to be put in the court of law beyond all reasonable doubt before the person could be convicted by competent law court. And when you are talking about the issue of trial, a lot of things go into it. And very fundamentally, is the issue of fair hearing. A good trial must be based on fair hearing. And when we are talking about this issue of the former governor of Central Bank, Emefiele, something is very sacrosanct. Having been arrested, it must inquire, must go through normal procedure. Now, when you are talking about fair hearing, the court where he is taken to must be an impartial court. It must not be denied fair hearing. There should be no impartiality. I was trying just to say there are three organs of the government: the judiciary, the legislation, and the executive. One must not make a dictatorial tendency over, maintain a dictatorial tendency over another one. And that is where we have checks and balances. And at the same time, I mentioned earlier, when you are talking about democracy, democracy is founded on the rule of law. And rule of law is based on the ground norm, and ground norm, which is the Constitution, another alias Constitution. So based on that, if Mr. Emefiele having been arrested, it must be properly charged to court. His offense must be made known to him within a reasonable time under the Constitution, as Constitution prescribed. So, if anything, it's at variance with the provision of the Constitution. It does mean such an act is incongruous, is invalid, it's wrongful of its right, it's of its fundamental right under the Constitution, and which is why his lawyer went to court that it should be brought, it should be brought to court so that it could be released. So those are the things actually.
Okay, Barrister Steve, now talking about fair hearing, the court has adjourned the hearing to Wednesday, November 8 for Emefiele's motion on notice for his counsel to provide additional documents. But still on the issue of fair hearing, do you think that the court would hold this against the anti-graft agency, the fact that they misunderstood what he said when he asked for Emefiele to be released? Do you think that that will come to play any time during the hearing?
What are you saying specifically? The case has been adjourned, and the court has said on the next adjourned date that it should be brought to court. It's an order of court, and it has to be obeyed.
But Barrister Steve, doesn't this set a precedent? I mean, there was a kind of miscommunication. So is this like a precedent? Is there something that should be reviewed in the Constitution that going forward, if such a thing happens, then there will be so and so repercussion?
I can't hear you very well.
Barrister Steve, are you with us?
Yes, yes.
Would you like me to repeat myself? Okay. So I was saying that, seeing how this one played out, the fact that the EFCC claims not to have understood what Judge Olukayode was saying when he asked for him to be released, isn't there a review that should be done so that these kind of situations don't repeat itself going forward? Let's say setting a precedence, sort of.
Well, let me start by saying that whenever an order is made by court of competent jurisdiction, no matter how frivolous, no matter how stupid that order is, it must be obeyed. If there is any reason whatsoever and howsoever why such order cannot be obeyed, the order must first and foremost be obeyed. But from your intro, you indeed actually said that EFCC said that the order was not served on them. But believe me now that the order has been served on them. There is no reason under the heaven why it should not be released. Because the alibi initially is that the order was not served on them. But having been served on them, having come to court, I believe personally that the EFCC will do the need.
Okay. All right, Barrister Steve, now talking about Emefiele's release in general, do you think that that will interrupt the investigations? Because we understand that the EFCC is still carrying out some investigations based on Emefiele's monetary decisions while he was still in power. So do you think his release is going to interrupt anything and further complicate the situation?
Yeah, actually, we have control of authority, quite all right. In the release, of a suspect, it's going to jeopardize investigation. And that's just because everything about judiciary is striving towards justice. Towards justice. Justice is the linchpin of any procedure, of any trial before a competent court of justice. When you are talking about any trial, justice is the end of it, and that is what makes society a lawful society, a contradistinction to a jungle. So, in essence, if the position of the law is very clear, if the release of that very person is going to jeopardize investigation, that person cannot be released. But notwithstanding, the way we go, and at the same time we have the federal authority saying that investigation should be conducted within a reasonable time. And it is on investigation should be conducted within a reasonable time. On the strength of this, it is quite believed that we ought to have conducted that investigation within a reasonable time so as to allow for the release of that very person and so that the trial can go.
All right. Barrister Steve, now, looking at this misunderstanding that happened, do you think that in any way this is going to affect the credibility of the anti-graft agency, the EFCC, especially in the eyes of the people? Because one might wonder what other orders from the judiciary or from the court has been misunderstood like this.
Capability of the EFCC.
What do you say?
Hello?
Please say that again.
Capability of EFCC.
So basically, I'm saying that the misunderstanding from the part of the EFCC now, do you think that this will affect the credibility of the EFCC, seeing how the judge gave an order, they misunderstood and did something contrary? Do you think that this will affect their credibility in the eyes of the people?
I think actually we have traveled beyond that. Now, they came to court, provided an alibi. Why the person have not been released? Why not have patience till the next Monday and see whether the court order will be made? Not done begun. We started by saying that another court, no matter how frivolous, no matter how stupidity, it is meant to be obeyed by appropriate institution concerned. that particular order, whoever is directed towards, has to be. But having said that the order was not served on them, they have said the order was not served on them. Then the court has adjourned and made another order upon the order that was made that they should be brought to court. Why not wait till that very day before dropping the gun? I know as a fact that the court has power to carry out its order on whoever is directed. If the person feels that is a primitive order to follow. So let's wait. Next agenda.
All right. Barrister Steve Adaramoye, lawyer in Lagos, Nigeria. Thank you so much for joining us on the program today.
Thank you very much.